Ccrp Silver Club is sponsored by Ccrp, Digicel, NCB, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, and JNGI. Older people are important members of any society and therefore have the right to live in dignity in later life. Welcome to the Ccrp Silver Club series, a program that seeks to educate, entertain, and improve the lives of persons 50 and over. I'm Dervan Malcolm. This week on Ccrp Silver Club.
Loneliness affects seniors in a very intense way because quite often we lose partners to death.
I think seniors are trying to fit in, just like everyone else. But the truth is, technology can sometimes be a difficult and challenging thing to understand.
I think if you can have a little yoga every day, it helps.
Loneliness and social isolation in older adults are serious public health risks affecting our seniors. Here are some more insights about loneliness and how to prevent the dreaded effects that come with it. Associate Clinical Psychologist Sonia Wynter explains.
Loneliness is a psychological emotion, a feeling that people have when either the quality or the quantity of their social connections is not satisfying to them. So human beings are innately designed for social connections. Loneliness affects seniors in a very intense way because quite often they're isolated away from social connections for a variety of reasons. They, for instance, will lose partners to death, friends, siblings, associates, and that they can lose their social network, as it were. And that can leave them feeling lonely. The fact that they also sometimes lose their mobility. They can't drive anymore to go where they want to. Sometimes they can't walk and they're not as agile to go where they want to so that they can connect. And that impairs their ability to have these social connections and they end up feeling lonely. Also things such as blindness and inability to hear can leave you feeling cut off from other people and isolated, and that's what can lead to this feeling that we call loneliness. So loneliness can lead to illness. When the elderly feel that they're disconnected from their support system, they will feel loneliness, and so their body goes on high alert. Once your body goes on high alert, that means that you're going to start producing these stress hormones. Once you start producing stress hormones on an ongoing basis, that's going to lead to a number of lifestyle illnesses such as heart disease, diabetes, hypertension, Alzheimer's in some cases, all arising out of the fact that people feel lonely and they're not quite sure what to do about it. A visit is wonderful, but it can be inadequate in some ways because sometimes you visit the elderly, you spend 5 minutes with them, you leave, and when you leave, they're lonely again. To the extent you can visit them and incorporate, do something important with them. Have a ritual where, let's say for instance, every Thursday or every fourth Thursday, you visit them and you take them for a walk. Or you have a show, you watch the same show every Friday night. You know, to the extent that you can involve them and have an activity that they can depend on, where they feel relevant, where they feel like they matter, where they feel like you care. And also, if you can bring children around the elderly, that's a huge and very therapeutic exercise that can help them with loneliness as well. You know, being around children instills a sense of hope. You know, for the elderly, their memories and their sense of belonging is something that they hold dear. And when they feel that those memories and their sense of value is irrelevant to those around them, that can lead to a sense of despair. So to the extent that you can, you know, engage them and pick their brains for, you know, past histories of the family, of the country, so that they can see that they have some value to add, is very important. But more than anything else, If you can, on a consistent basis, connect with them and give them some sense of relevance and meaning and make it clear that they're important in your life, that can make a huge difference to their loneliness and ultimately to their mental health. If you can't visit, of course, a phone call, FaceTime, using virtual, those are better than nothing for sure, and you can develop and enhance relationships by connecting in this way. Living alone can bring on loneliness, but the most important thing is social connection. So if you live alone, but you spend your days volunteering at a home and doing things where you're connected to people, then living alone is less of a disadvantage. Unfortunately, what often happens is when people live alone, they end up isolating themselves for too much of the time. And that's what will then lead to loneliness and impair their mental health. There are different little tips that, seniors can incorporate. One of them that they often say, you tell children don't talk to strangers. For elderlies, one of the advice is talk to strangers, get to know your neighbor, encourage connection by just speaking to different people. Another way too, they say there's a 7-minute rule that seniors can sometimes apply. And the 7-minute rule is where you engage in a conversation and you give it at least 7 minutes before you bail out, as it were. Because it often takes 7 minutes to know, is this going to be an interesting conversation? Am I going to connect with this person or not? Engage in some kind of group activity where you're doing something, you feel part of a bigger project or endeavor. That's also very, very therapeutic as well. Whether it be a choir, whether it be volunteering somewhere, maybe even just playing a card game. But where you can create activities for interaction can be really very, very helpful. We can leverage technology so that people can feel connected, so that people can share ideas, thoughts, affection. Technology does afford that opportunity. It does have its limitations because you don't have to be as authentic when you show up on technology, and sometimes that can affect the quality of the connection that you're having with this person. So that's the downside of technology. But in many situations, if technology allows you to connect in any way, be it with strangers, be it with people you know, be it with people who you can learn something from, be it with people who can learn something from you. If technology affords you that avenue and that opportunity, seize it, work it. It will work for you.
The Ccrp Silver Club will be right back. This segment is brought to you by Quartz. In this segment, we'll be talking about technology so you can better understand how to use the most popular mobile device, the smartphone. Elon Parkinson is Public Relations and Communications Manager at Digicel, and he joins us now to talk about seniors and technology. How are you, Elon?
I'm doing well.
Why do seniors seem to have so much trouble with these mobile devices and technology in general?
I think seniors are trying to fit in, just like everyone else. And as they try to fit in, the assimilation experience can be a little bit challenging. And that's primarily because when you grow older, you're more mature, you likely don't want to be asking questions. You want to figure things out for yourself because that's what you become accustomed to as an adult. But the truth is, technology can sometimes be a difficult and challenging thing to understand and to overcome.
Are there devices that you would suggest would be easier for seniors to use?
These days there are. The truth is that the way technology is being made now, it's kind of plug and play, I like to call it. You switch on, the operating system comes up. There's hardly anything that you need to do to sort of put in a command. Nowadays you power on and you are up on a main screen with tiles or icons that you can choose what to do from there on, right? The only other thing you'd need to overcome is, for instance, to input a password, but then you're good to go thereafter. So it's more about understanding where I want to go, in terms of using this technology.
Is there scope for further simplification, or the cell phone is where it is already?
There is always scope for simplification. You'll recall when the cell phone came out years ago, some of the commands that we used to put in then, we don't need to know because the cell phone has evolved. It's now a smartphone, right? And the smart features dictate that, look, you are now able to allow this device to do certain things on its own, right? You can program the device, for instance, to wake you up every morning. Your alarm goes off, right? You can program the device to tell you how many notifications you have in terms of emails. In fact, you can get your emails on your device. There was a time when you had to go back home to go on your computer to log on and check your emails. You can check your messages, you can connect with friends. It has been made in such a way that seniors are able to more quickly assimilate the conditions of the digital space. And, it opens some exciting opportunities for them too, because when you look at the abundance of seniors who are now logging on to Facebook, for example, it's a haunt for seniors, apparently. They get in, they play around, they have the games on it, so there's a discovery there as well. Never assume that they know absolutely nothing about these newfangled devices, and be patient. It may not happen in one session.
But
right?
it's also a fun way, isn't it? If you're thinking, for example, of grandparents and grandchildren.
Yes, the seniors being sort of curious, and
right.
the kids not too helpful either.
Right.
And it's a great bonding moment too.
Right.
Let's remember that. You want to just ensure that you're taking them step by step instructionally. And if you want to stop it there for the day, then fine. You want to stop it at downloading the app, and you say, you know what, tomorrow we pick up on how we configure the app, right? And you leave them with that, because it also plants a seed of curiosity in their minds. Now they're like, all right, I'm looking forward to the next lesson tomorrow, where I'm going to now enter this app, put in my password.
Naturally, there are some fundamentals that could be life-saving features for seniors.
Absolutely. And it is those features that could even draw more relevance to a senior, because the classic ways of calling for help, to dial your 119, it's quite easy with in the smartphone environment. There are commands that you can put in, right? Where if you're in trouble, if you configure it to tap the power button about 4 or 5 times, right, consecutively, then it sends out a command that you need help, and it gives the GPS location, the camera comes on, I think the mic is opened as well to hear the ambient sounds, the camera to pick up whatever is happening in your environment, and it goes to a couple of chosen persons you would have decided on earlier to say, well, if I have an emergency, please let my mother, father, grandfather, whoever knows. They may have emergencies, let's understand it, especially health emergencies, slips, falls, that kind of thing. And to mitigate against those, or at least to get quick help, it would be important for them to understand how to manipulate the smartphone. I think that seniors are quickly becoming digital adopters in their own right. Even the ergonomics of it, very important to seniors too. Some of them have orthopedic challenges that, cell phone manufacturers do take into consideration when they're building these devices. Some of them have challenges with their sight, so they make bigger screens. When you put the two together, the simplification of the technology and the democratization of the access, right, along with a $200 million Digital Jamaica program that we started a year ago in July 2021 to bring about that 99% LTE coverage, along with some fiber rollout in rural Jamaica. You're talking about delivering fiber to homes where you have retired persons who are able to connect and video call with their loved ones from all over the world. This is life-changing stuff that we're talking about.
Elon, I understand you have a senior with you who is going to be getting the benefit of your expertise.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. All right, so I'm with my good friend, Sydney, retired machinist. But today we're looking at a machine of a different kind, a digital one. Sydney, probably not too far off from the kind of stuff you used to work on back then. But tell me though, you've been using a smartphone for how long now?
About 3 years.
How have you found using it versus the older version?
Whatever I know about the phone is not enough for me.
That's interesting. Tell me.
Right? I would like to send out a photograph of things that I have done
Yes.
to my client and stuff like that, but I can't do that.
With smartphones, you always need an app to do everything. Let's say you want to send a photo to your friend Gary, right? All you have to do is to go in. So you tap here for message, right? So let's just send a quick note to Gary, all right? We're just gonna say hello. So you type hello from the keyboard at the bottom, right? That pops up. And then when you're ready to send your message, you press the green button. So just tap that green one right there. Right? There you go. That's it. Now, if you want to send a photo to Gary, you tap for the camera. There you go. All right, Sydney, you ready?
Yeah.
Smile?
Smile.
All right, cool. Snap. You ready to send it to Gary?
Yes.
Show me how. You're right. Yeah, that's it. The green one,
Yeah.
right? And there you go, right? And it's sending your photo over to Gary.
When I leave here, I'll sit down and I try to do it myself.
You want to do it again now?
No.
One of the cool things about smartphones is that they have something called the predictive text, right? So sometimes you don't have to type out the word, right? Because the phone kind of figure out what you're trying to say.
So that is
so
exactly
you see, you put HE
Yeah.
and it's already saying hey, right?
Yeah.
You could just say hey instead of hello,
Yeah.
right? So you just say hey,
Okay, yeah.
right? As you upgrade,
Yeah.
you know, you might want to look at even having a bigger screen, especially because of the
I
work
do
that
need
you do.
a bigger screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Because bigger screens give you more range and options
Yeah.
and even more clarity too in terms of the photos
Yes,
that
I've
you're
seen
able
a
to take.
couple of phones which I really admire, and I've
Yeah.
seen how they operate.
Stay tuned. More CCRP Silver Club when we return. This segment is brought to you by the National Health Fund. You are never too old to reap the rewards of yoga. For seniors who are looking for a safe, effective way to enhance their physical health and overall wellness, the stretching, breathing, and meditation practices of yoga can be a great solution.
My name is Enid Baptiste. I'm a certified yoga instructor, and I've been teaching yoga since year 2000. And over the years, I found out that it makes me stronger. It makes me more relaxed. It also helps for better sleep and give you a sense of balance. So I would recommend yoga to everyone. We have 22 different styles of yoga. The style that I'll be showing you today is vinyasa, which stretch and tone the muscles, and it also helps you to do breathing. If the seniors have any type of injuries, like back pain or hip pain or whatever, the chair could be better for them. The standing poses can also help them because you stretch down and stretch out. So you're working the muscles across the shoulders and arms. I think if you can have a little yoga every day, it helps. You're not supposed to feel pain when you're doing yoga. So if you're doing some of the stretches and you feel pain, it's good to ease out of that pose. So if you do yoga at least 3-4 times a week, it's good, but if you can do a little every day, it's very helpful. A lot of us get tension every day we wake. We face challenges and the body gets tense, especially across the shoulder blades. If you do the breathing and stretching, that will release the tension. Okay, so I'm just going to start with some of the breathing. So inhale, exhale. You notice I'm pushing out my abs, and the reason for that is because I'm bringing in fresh oxygen. And as I exhale, I'm pulling the navel towards the spine as I get rid of CO2. We are going to take a nice deep breath through the nostrils. We're going to exhale through the mouth. For seniors especially, we get pains around the shoulder blades. Even younger people do. So it's always good to work the muscles around the neck and shoulders. So as we lift up towards the air, we're going to fall back. Just let the muscles gently inhale up, exhale and release. We're going to bring that one arm over the air, and it's always good to bend it over the air because you're stretching this side of the body. Feel the stretch from the waist up. And then gently take it back. Again, take a nice deep breath. All the way over the ear if you can. Exhale down. We're going to gently roll the shoulders back. 3, 4, and 5. Then gently bring the palms together. And then bring them to the heart center. Okay, so interlace the fingers if you can. Now, if you find this hard to do, you can just bring the arms out and gently come forward. You don't have to go all the way down. You can keep the knees soft as you come down. You should be feeling the stretch in the lower back. Keep the knees straight and gently bend the knees and bring it up. Good job. Bring the arms to the side. Lift the shoulder blades up and then gently roll back. And we're going to bring the toes inwards. Bring the hands to the waist and gently come forward. This is very good for the lower back also. If you can go all the way down, it's good, but don't force it. Listen to your body. We're going to loose the hands and hold on to the ankles. And as we inhale, we're going to slightly bend the knees, lengthen the spine, and then exhale and bring it up. Okay, so we're going to turn the leg a little bit to the front. Bring the arms up, palms together, look up towards the sky, and gently bring those hands looking towards the toes. When you're doing these poses, make sure you're engaging the muscles in the legs, especially the front leg. And then we gently bring it up. Listen to your body as you open the shoulder blades and let go. Now we're going to turn it back to the center and then turn for the other leg. Palms together. Keep that knee straight if you can as you stretch down. You should feel this stretch in the knee and this leg. You want to lift up from the waist. Engage the core by pulling the belly in towards the spine. And then stretch, gently bring it down. Gently bring it up. Open the shoulder blades again, arms to the side, palms together. Namaste. Namaste means the divine in me recognize the divine in you.
That's it for this episode of the CCRP Silver Club series, where we keep you educated and informed about matters concerning you, our seniors. See you next week. CCRP Silver Club is sponsored by Ccrp, Digicel, NCB, Manpower and Maintenance Services Limited Group, and JNGI.